Hi, everyone. It is good to see you. Welcome to KREM 2 News at noon. I'm Laura Papetti, and we begin by talking about weather. Thomas, Patrick is in today, experiencing another day similar to the weather we saw yesterday. Is there any changes coming in the next couple of days? Not that I'm complaining, by the way, about the sunshine.
Don't worry, Laura. I've just been fishing for any kind of weather changes, even if they are minute or subtle, because we got to mix things up at some point. And I think today will be just kind of our subtly most different day. And even though those temperatures are about the same, do you notice how it's just a little bit cloudier overall? I know that doesn't seem like very much, but it is a subtle difference that won't make a difference temperature-wise. It just looks a little bit different out there from either your windowsill or just outside the front door. 30 degrees in Spokane currently. You see the temperatures updating live as of the noon hour. 32 now in Liberty Lake. Warm spot 35 in Coeur d'Alene. But here's this patch of cloud cover. It's kind of nice and solid. It isn't super thick, but it is overhead. This might squeeze out some snow flurries later on tonight, but I intentionally say might or maybe because the chances for any kind of snowfall is very low for tonight, admittedly, but it's not a 0% chance. So we'll be keeping tabs on this and see if it can squeeze out some snowfall or if it needs the mountains to help it along overall. We'll have the latest look at our future tracker computer modeling and then go into our weekend forecast from there.
Bryan Kohberger, the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students, is back in court. And right now, Judge Stephen Hippler is listening to arguments about specific evidence, and that includes investigative genetic genealogy possibly being admitted at trial. Taking a look at some background, prosecutors are pushing back against Coburger's attorney's claims that investigators improperly gathered key evidence in the case. They are asking the judge to deny the defense's request to exclude the evidence in question from trial. On Saturday, more than a dozen highly technical responses were published. Prosecutors claim searches of Coburger and his property were indeed appropriate and should be allowed to help prove the charges filed against him. The defense says only being given incomplete disclosures will, quote, greatly prejudice Mr. Coburger. The current portion of the hearing is closed to the public right now. However, once they allow it to resume, we'll be streaming any new information on KREM 2+. You can join us there. Coming in now at noon, we are learning more about why a 17-year-old opened fire inside the cafeteria of a Nashville high school around noon yesterday. Police say the teen shot 2 students, then turned the gun on himself. Our CBS station in Nashville reporting police recovered pages of writing showing his plans and motivation for the attack. In his writing, he wrote he was, quote, ashamed to be black, and included anti-Semitic statements and a flyer from a neo-Nazi white supremacy group. His writing showed that he had been thinking about violence for a few months. A student who was in the cafeteria when the shots rang out says what followed was panic. Meanwhile, family waited outside trying to stay strong.
They were scared to die, and they was running, like not no regular run. It was like someone was chasing them, like he was a monster, just killing people.
Tonight, when it's all over with, I'll lay in the bed and I'll cry, because I can't right now. I gotta make sure everybody's good. So.
The family of the 16-year-old killed in the shooting says they are devastated and they are asking for more security in the school, but say they are worried that nothing will ever change. President Trump has used his first week in office implementing executive orders to carry out his tougher border policies. He's carrying through with his campaign promise to use the military to help secure the border. CBS explains the situation going on right now from Washington, D.C.
CBS News has learned the Trump administration is considering sending as many as 10,000 U.S. troops to the southern border and potentially using military bases to hold migrants awaiting deportation. The Pentagon has already said around 1,500 troops have begun to deploy to help secure the U.S.-Mexico border.
This was a gross miscarriage of common sense to allow people to come in.
Stepped-up enforcement operations across the country have led to nearly 500 undocumented migrant arrests.
And they will be sent home. And those flights are already underway this morning.
Community leaders are warning migrants to be prepared.
if you are deported, you should already have paperwork set so we know where your children need to go. You need to have those legal documents, those powers of attorneys.
A federal judge in Seattle hears arguments today on lawsuits challenging President Trump's executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship. While here on Capitol Hill, Trump allies are working to double down with new legislation.
His historic executive order to end birthright citizenship marks a critical step forward, and now with the Birthright Citizenship Act of 2025, we can solidify these reforms into lasting law.
Attorneys general from more than 20 states suing to block changing birthright citizenship argue it's settled law protected by the Constitution's 14th Amendment. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.